Good evening, everyone. My name is Sebastian Boots. I'm a percussion professor here and director of bands, and it is my honor to welcome you all as we celebrate the incredible musical journey of Matthew Hinkle. And I want to tell you a little story about him. I first met Matthew 2 years ago when he transferred to Lindenwood from SCC to complete his bachelor's degree in music business and entrepreneurship. And I still distinctly remember watching his audition video, excerpts of his immaculate snare drum playing from his days in the Blue Devils drum corps. I immediately knew that this was someone who takes music very seriously and understands the level of rigor that is required to become a professional musician at the highest caliber. Matthew came to me for percussion lessons because he wanted to learn more about keyboard percussion. He had very limited background playing marimba at that time. I said, okay. So we had our first semester of lessons, and I taught him some four mallet technique and gave him a pretty basic and introductory piece for marimba. And he came in to our lesson the next week and had it fully learned and memorized. So I upped the ante and gave him a marimba solo that was far more advanced, both in technicality and musicality. Probably about 2 weeks after that, he comes in for a lesson and performs that pretty much flawlessly. So I thought, wow, there's something very special about Matthew Hinkle. Not only does he have the work ethic, he's coachable, and he's willing to go the extra mile to analyze, to research, to experiment, to truly learn. And it's not just in percussion. He's gone after everything to soak up every bit of knowledge he can, from jazz drum set to performing for musicals, to recording projects, and even composing his own music. So after about a year of lessons, Matthew had just made tremendous progress, and I asked him if he had any interest in studying music in graduate school. He tells me, yes, but I've got what my mom calls analysis paralysis. I can't make up my mind if I want to do everything. So I didn't push it. We'll see where this leads. And fast forward to this past January, we've been studying together for about 1.5 years, 2 years at this point. I was performing with the St. Louis Symphony, and one of the other members of the percussion section for this particular concert was Megan Arns, who is the percussion professor at Mizzou. So during one of our rehearsal breaks, I was talking to Megan, and I said, look, I think I've got this incredible percussion student who I think you should meet. And his name is Matthew Hinkle, and before I could even get out another sentence, she just interrupted me with excitement to say, oh yeah, I think I've heard about him. He was in one of my dad's business classes at Lindenwood. And so it turns out her father is a business professor who I think is here in this very room. Hello, David. And so I said, well, Megan, while you're in town, let's set up a time for you to meet Matthew. I think it'd just be a terrific experience all the way around. And so they did. They got together for a lesson, and Matthew suddenly became very interested and committed to the idea of pursuing graduate school at Mizzou. And so he came into our next lesson, and we talked about it. But here was the kicker. The audition deadline to be considered for a scholarship, assistantship, was 2 weeks away. So when we spoke in our next lesson, he told me he wanted to go for it. I said, okay, but you have to understand what you're up against. You've got all of these solos. Now you need to learn on timpani, snare drum, marimba, as well as orchestral excerpts on all three of these instruments. And you need to do this at a pristine level because you're competing against students who have been preparing for this audition for the past year. But in typical Matthew fashion, he relishes a good challenge and worked around the clock to practice and prepare. And I'm beyond proud to say that Matthew won this coveted full scholarship graduate teaching assistantship to Mizzou to study percussion performance and his other passion, recording engineering. Matthew has raised the bar for everyone at Lindenwood, and I am so excited we all get to be here tonight to celebrate him and share our love and support for him as he concludes his time here at Lindenwood and embarks on his next journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Matthew Hinkle.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out to my senior recital. It means so much to me to see so many familiar faces here. Hope you all enjoyed yourself. We still have one more left to do. But before then, I had a couple of thank yous I need to give out. There are a lot of people that are responsible for me being able to be out here playing in front of all of you. I see a lot of them in the crowd. Some of them are backstage, but I want to make sure that I thank everybody because I could not do any of this without the guidance and leadership of those around me. So first of all, I want to thank all my fellow students here at Lindenwood. I like to say that music is best played with other people. And the students, some of which you saw me play with today, they're the reason that I've been able to grow and enjoy what I do here. If I was by myself the whole time doing this wouldn't have ended up like this. So I have to give a sincere thank you to all the students here at Lindenwood that have been with me and played with me and helped make this fun and enjoyable. I also want to thank Professor Donahue and the audio practicum that set up all the mics and helped prepare everything, and Austin Van Winkle up in the booth for doing all the lighting and everything. They add such a depth to my recital and all the rest of the concerts that we have, so I'm very thankful that they were willing to take time out of their day to help set all this up for me. You know, all the things that I've played here tonight, like Dr. Booth said at the beginning, 2 years ago I was not able to play any of it. I did not have this talent, these skills, this understanding of music 2 years ago. And I can really thank 4 instructors here at Lindenwood for mentoring me, guiding me, and helping me learn in a way where I didn't feel judged and where I felt like I could push and pursue the things that I wanted to. The first professor here I'd like to thank is Professor Pam Grooms, who's getting ready to retire at the end of the semester, actually. I don't know where you are. It's kind of dark. Oh, there she is. The opportunities you've given me to play with your choir, to play in the theater program, these are opportunities I never thought I was going to be able to have, and they do mean the world to me that you allowed me to play with your students and get these new experiences. They've really helped shape the way I look at music and the types of things I'm interested in. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you thinking of me when you've needed percussionists for your concerts. It's been a joy for me. I also want to thank, and I think he's hiding backstage, Professor Justin DiCenzo. He's the one you were watching play bass. He's going to come out and play bass on one more song. He has helped mentor me both with music and with audio. I've done an internship this semester working with live audio, and he's been my supervisor and my mentor, and he's really taught me a lot. He's allowed me to learn and ask questions, and I'm very thankful that I've gotten to have him in my life to just, every small question I have, I can just bounce off of him. I also want to give a huge thank you to Professor Donahue, Professor Adam Donahue. Everything that I've learned about audio started with him, started with what he taught us in the classes that he led. And everything that I've learned from jazz to composition, all kinds of different things, a lot of it came from him, and him, again, being willing to answer my questions, the thousands of questions that I always ask, and mentor me and push me as well. He was never one to just let me be who I wanted. He was always, and for all of his students, he pushes the best out of us. And he really helped me to see that with that analysis paralysis you heard at the beginning, that there's not always a designated outcome to a decision we make, but that doesn't mean we can't head in a direction and try to get work done. So thank you, Professor Donahue, for helping me be less rigid and more flexible. And then the fourth instructor that I really, really want to highlight is Dr. Sebastian Boots. It has meant so much to me to get to learn from you, because you have not just been a teacher, not just a mentor, but a perfect example of character for who I want to be. You know, all the students here, I have this catchphrase. Anytime anybody asks me, how's it going, how's your day, I always say, can't complain. And really, the inspiration from that comes from you. I don't think I've ever seen you complain. And I tell people your relentless positive attitude has inspired me not just as a musician, but as a human being. To not just be a better musician, but to be a better human being. And I am so eternally grateful that I was lucky enough to have you in my life and to learn from you. So thank you, Dr. Boots. I'm very, very grateful.
Some other people I want to thank. There's a couple of gentlemen sitting in the back, Mr. Mark Ishman and Mr. Huey Pullum. These two gentlemen in the back were my original drum instructors, back when I didn't know anything about music at all. And they never liked to take credit for me, but they were the ones that set me down this path and got me interested and made me passionate. None of any of this would have been possible. Me learning from all these other extremely talented instructors would have never have been possible if it wasn't for you two pushing me in this direction. And I think about you guys all the time and about how that still, to this day, inspires me. And I'm extremely grateful that when I was in high school and I was introverted and not very talkative, that you guys were willing to push me out of my comfort zone to become something better. So thank you guys. It really means a lot to me. And then I want to thank some of the people here. I want to give a huge thank you to my family. My mom, my dad, and my twin brother, Brian, who every single step of the way showed me so much support. I am truly, truly blessed to have had you guys as a family, and I wish I had more words. I'm extremely blessed to have all the support from the three of you every step of the way, so thank you. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm thankful for everybody in this room that decided to show up and everybody that's backstage, but we have one more song left. And this is a song that I, with Professor Donahue, worked on writing this semester, and it's going to be called Skipping Steps, so I hope you enjoy.
all so very, very much for coming out and seeing me. I hope you all have a great night. Be safe getting home. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.